everybody out there. Say I am here today to kind of post a short video as well as check some of this microphone quality while it's actually used for what its primary purpose is. I usually use it um, for my recording of guitar, but the thing I wanted to talk about today is going to be about who I am and a short introduction to what's going on this side. So, my name is Dave. I am the, administrator for Epoch, Eclectic Pagans Open Circle. On Facebook, we're trying to expand a little bit further beyond that, but as for right now, that's where we're at. I have been pagan or at least some sort of pagan, in my own term of sense of what that word means, since I was probably 13 or 14, maybe 15. I don't know. I was pretty darn young. I got started a lot like a lot of other people did. I kind of just didn't have the right kind of taste as it was for Christianity for the most part, or really any other. I don't know. I just didn't feel quite right, if that makes sense. I wanted to find something because I wanted to feel more cohesive, I guess is maybe the right term. But I wanted to do something different. Not necessarily like try to be edgy or new or whatever, but just something that more resonated with me. For a long time, that was Wicca. Pretty much specifically was just Wicca, and that was a big thing for me for a while. But it was really the only exposure I really had. So then I ended up getting into things like tarot and stuff like that, and I really enjoy that stuff still. However, it's not really the main part of my path that much anymore. I am currently, I would consider myself to be a Norse Buddhist. I look at Norse gods and all sorts of gods, and pretty much every god is a sort of a personification of a reality of our living. As an example, and this is kind of where we'll get into some of my philosophy parts with this, is that if we look at like Norse philosophy or Norse paganism or asatru, they always have the 9 different realms where you can go after you die, as an example. But I almost see those as a personification of the idea that we will get wherever we're going to go. There's a place for everybody. And that you'll be able to use that to say, don't worry about what happens when you pass, because you'll get to where you're going anyways. So just don't even worry about it. And I'm also Buddhist, which I very highly value the Four Noble Truths as well as the Eightfold Path, which I've actually condensed in. We can talk about that in a later video, but right now I'm just kind of introducing kind of who I am. So yeah, I would consider myself currently as a Norse Buddhist, but I would prefer to consider everybody just to be who they are. I don't really want to. I was kind of hesitant when I was deciding to make this video, but I ended up making the intro for the channel, and I thought it was a good segue into talking about something. But I guess a lot of the things I'm going to talk about here are going to be pretty touch and go with a lot of different people. And as such, I totally respect everybody's viewpoints, and that's exactly kind of what I'm getting at here, is that I want everybody to be able to have their own thing and not really care so much about what they're calling themselves. I want people to be able to explore as much as they possibly can, and if things don't work out for them in their path, or they disagree with it, they can bypass it very easily. But they should also recognize that, you know what I'm saying, where they can look at other people and be like, no, if that works for you, then that works for you. I have nothing wrong with it, but don't judge me based on it. So that's kind of the whole premise of my path, really, is I come in a Norse Buddhist sort of way. It's almost secular in a way, like a secular pagan Norse Buddhist. I don't know, but really you can just call myself eclectic. I just kind of go all over the place. I find things that are interesting to me, but most of the time people will end up calling me a variety of different things. I've heard people be like, you're not Buddhist at all, or you're not Norse at all, or you're not Wiccan at all, or you're not a druid at all. I think that what I'm about to show you is going to be very beneficial as to who I am and what I really value. I feel like most people within paganism read a lot. We read a lot, don't we? So what I'm kind of thinking is that if I show you the main documents that I use to kind of define who I am, as far as, you know, if I had to choose 3 books, if I had to choose 3 of them, what 3 would they be? And those 3 I actually have sitting right here. The first one is Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. I like this book primarily because it's a very condensed and modern take on it, and we can get to the philosophy of why I prefer the modern take and the modern philosophy on it later. But just know that as of right now, I like it because it has the modern take on it. There are a couple things that I don't agree with, like the way that they view hell in there. I just don't agree with that. But for the most part, it's a really good modern storytelling or rendition of what the Eddas kind of were like. The next book is The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. I was debating on adding another one of his books in here, but I'm not really going to, because that one has a little bit more dogma in it. This one does not. It just kind of has generic core of Buddhist teachings in there, or at least from Tian or Thean, which is Thich Nhat Hanh's lineage. And the last one is the Havamal. Now, I use the Kissholm translation, which I can't find online anymore. So if you would like to get this copy, let me know and I will give it to you. But the Havamal is the Norse sort of the Norse like code of ethics in a way, or like sayings to live by, essentially. Actually, Havamal right afterwards is the sayings of Har, but it's technically the words of Odin coming down to, it doesn't matter. We'll get into stuff like that later, and what that actually means to me. But I just wanted to give you guys an introduction to who I am. I next kind of want to talk about what this channel is going to be about and what I'm going to be posting on here. Primarily the stuff that I'm going to be posting is going to be stuff geared around, maybe pagan crafts or pagan philosophy, or my takes on a philosophical stance within paganism, because there are plenty. I am going to school right now. I am minoring in philosophy and I am majoring in social studies education. I am going to go to graduate school. Haven't decided exactly yet if it's going to be in philosophy or if it's going to be in history. But yeah, now notice that the 3 books that I showed you did not really represent Wicca very much. There are a lot of other philosophies that I follow that are not within these 3 books. Hinduism is one of them. Taoism is one of them. Same thing with Wicca and druidry. I find them to be extremely valuable as well. You'd notice that there's no Cunningham in here as an example. I'm just kind of, that's my core right now, is those 3, and I try to limit it to 3. So I'm going to be posting videos about, books that I'm working on or rereading, and something that made me think about something. I'm going to be posting all sorts of different stuff that should be pagan and witchcrafty and eclectic in a way. I don't want to try to stray too far from that whole faith and spirituality sort of thing, but I do want to be able to have that freedom and range to be able to go within that thing. One of my big inspirations is actually Vishuddha Das. If you guys want to look him up, he's actually really, really cool. I think right now he started out in like a Buddhist path, I believe, and then he went into more Vajrayana. I'm not entirely sure. I think that he's Hindu now, though. But you'd have to ask him. Go watch his videos. He's great. I endorse him fully. So that's a little bit about me. Looks like this video's gone on long enough for now for just an intro video. If you have any questions or any video ideas, let me know down in the comments below. I will certainly be willing to look into those. Everybody's got some great ideas to put out there. And thanks, and I'll see you next time.